Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage
King Andile Mama.
to everybody in the house. Give a warm round of applause for
King Andile Mama.
And he captures the moment.
King Andile Mama.
Man, it is extraordinary.
Victor Chumwani. You got the principle?
Just like a fish in the water enjoying AFCON. I watch SABC 3. There was a game, SABC 1, same game. I'm like, indeed it's live. Live. Everywhere you go is live.
Remember that you can catch every single one of those games on SABC Sport. Let's go to the other third of this team. He's all the way in Abidjan.
Bonsoir, Mazola.
Bonsoir, Monso, Victor, principal.
Comment ça va?
No, I haven't gone that far.
Mazola, I hear you talking about traffic. Is there no escort?
Not for me, Victor.
I'm coming. You get an escort. Don't worry. I'm coming. The reason you're here, of course, is you would know this Mali team. You've played against them. You've studied them. You know our Bafana team. Whenever we play Mali, that photo resurfaces. What do you do? Do you laugh as well?
I laugh when I see that picture.
And now presenting GQ Man of the Year 2023, 2024, and 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, help me present to you Untitled
Night Amplified with Ndile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
Exactly 8 after the hour, 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. Hey man, I'm terribly sorry. You know, I'm terribly sorry I'm not going to be in yesterday. I was out on SABC doing the big games because yesterday was a big day, wasn't it? This has been, and you can quote me on this, and you're more than welcome to bring back whatever it is that you know of the Africa Cup of Nations. But this has been, by far, the best AFCON I've witnessed. It'll never come close to 1996 because for me there was the introduction of AFCON that was us winning it, right? From an experience point of view, from a nostalgia point of view, 96 will always top it. But from a footballing point of view, organizational point of view, broadcast point of view, I mean, what the SABC Sport has done in this broadcasting of this has been absolutely breathtakingly amazing. All round, the best AFCON in history. You can quote me on that. You're more than welcome. Let's have that conversation if you feel otherwise. We're allowed to do that on this show. It's 9 after the hour 6. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome. We'll speak a little bit of AFCON because what happened yesterday is we saw a team that doesn't garner a lot of sympathy from South Africans, Ghana, out of the AFCON. But It was just the spectacular way in which they crashed out, number one. Number two, the drama that ensued thereafter. The journalist, and not the public, because this is happening in Cote d'Ivoire, the journalist saying to the Ghanaians, no, hold on, listen, we're not happy with your performance. This bus is not leaving. And then they went and stood in front of the bus and they had things to say. So we'll go to one of those guys that was there standing in front of the bus and we'll find out what it is that they wanted from the Ghanaian players as well as the association and the coach and everybody that was on that bus that wasn't allowed to leave the stadium after Ghana crashed out of the AFCON. And then there's a small matter of the host nation, Cote d'Ivoire. As we stand right now, Cote d'Ivoire are safe, they're cool, they're going through, right? That is because they topped the chart on the best third loser or the best third in every group. But that's before the matches today and tomorrow will be played. If you ask me, sitting with 3 points and a -3, they're going to crash out as well as soon as the matches are concerned, play. So they're out as far as I'm concerned. But we'll have to wait for what the games are going to be. There's still a chance. Yes, mathematically there's still a chance. But realistically, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that Cote d'Ivoire will stay in as well. But let's bring it back home. Because we're going to be doing that. We're going to be going to Cote d'Ivoire, speaking to a Ghanaian journalist, speaking to an Ivorian journalist as well. But let's bring it back home because what drama is unfolding as far as Moroka Swallows Football Club is concerned. There's going to be breaking news that you're going to be hearing today on what's happened so far. We're going to be speaking to the lawyer that represents Moroka Swallows, and they'll tell us exactly what is the club's thinking, what they are doing, and who, is it just the 22, has been fired and released from Swallows. Furthermore, it's the same lawyer. It's the same lawyer who represents Royal AM. Royal AM is trending today, of course, because yet another FIFA ban. Nascimento this time around, who's not a South African international, of course, so he can go to FIFA and say, hey, I am disgruntled, and there's a ruling. So we'll go and find out exactly what this ruling means for Royal AM. Two clubs not having a great time at the moment. Moroka Swallows as well as Royal AM. And Tobejane is going to be the man that's going to be speaking to us on both of those. But first up is the president of the South African Football Players Union, who's going to be speaking to us about the players that have been released. Where do they stand? They had a... what is it? It was a press conference, yeah? They had a press conference a little bit earlier today that SAFPU speaking on the matter of Swallows and their players. So we'll start there before we then move it along. Let's take a quick break.
Submissions for this year's Metro FM Music Awards are now open. And the winner is... To enter, simply log on to www.metrofmmusicawards.co.za. Make some beautiful noise! For inquiries, email info@metrofm.co.za. Yeah! Metro FM.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody. It's bigger, it's better. The Metro FM Awards are back.
It's where you want to be. Sports Night Amplified with Ndile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
It's exactly 12 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Please allow me to ask a colleague in the business here. It's the president first, right? Huh? We have the president first. Thulaganyo Shobelu joins us now, president of SAFPU. Thulaganyo, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you for having us, and let me say hi to your listeners.
I don't have much time with you, so I'm going to go straight into it. You held a press conference this afternoon. What was it about?
So we just wanted to clarify the position of where we are. You know that there have been that leaked documents on the decision of the chairperson of the hearing between the players and Moroka Swallows, where he is recommending that 22 players should be dismissed with immediate effect. We must say that we have noted that. We have written the letter to Swallows requesting a decision on that, because what is important there, and the Swallows must either accept or reject the recommendations by the chairperson, because what will that do? Once we get that decision, it will tell us how to proceed on this particular matter, because we know that we need to, should the players be dismissed, we'll go straight to the dispute resolution chamber to deal with the aftermath of the players being kicked out of the game. So that's where we are. And we wanted to highlight this particular point because where we sit, this was done hastily in the first instance. They rushed But after they get in the outcome from the chairperson, they are not doing anything about, thereby holding the players at ransom.
Sorry, Chilakanya, I just want to get clarity on that. So they went into the dispute resolution, of course, and then they came out with what the chairperson said is that dismissal, and you're saying they're sitting on that. They're not saying anything to the players. They have not communicated to the players as to what the decision is going to be. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. Remember, we represented the players. And
did you represent all the players, the entire squad, or a certain number?
No, we represented the 22 players. And what needed to happen was that Swallows is supposed to inform the players through us to say, this is where we are, firstly, can do that. And we can also speak to send the letters to the players to say, in terms of the outcome of this, we are endorsing the decision as it were. And we will then be able to take it from there. But from where we sit, the players cannot move at this point. They cannot refer the matter, they cannot seek recourse, and that's where fundamentally the problem lies. So
basically, what you are saying and what you're wanting is to say make a decision then, because the players have not been dismissed. You know what the outcomes of the DCO is, but they have not been dismissed. So you're coming in is to say they're in limbo. Please assist with the decision. Am I understanding you?
You're understanding us very well, but we must just understand this part, that this was an internal process. And internal processes by their very nature, they are conducted by the club. The club appoints the chairperson. They would probably brief the chairperson as to what they want. And these players, because we must not remove Swallows from this, it's these Swallows that requested these players to say, please, we are asking for dismissal of these players. All right? And that's exactly what he said. This is after the players would have been charged on the issues of the refusal to play the match, not attending the game, also bringing the league into disrepute. Because we argued against those particular issues. And
what is the argument against those? Because, I mean, those are big charges that have been put on the players. You've just labeled them, all three of those, huge charges that have been labeled on the players. What is the counter-argument to that?
Anilo, we reject the notion that the player embarked on an illegal strike. When you look at the Labor Relations Act, Andile, it's very clear. You can go, your listeners can go to Schedule 8, which talks about what needs to happen. First and foremost, the club was supposed, if there was anything like a strike, the club was supposed to have given an ultimatum. They were supposed to inform the organization to say on the 12th, 13th, and 14th that they claimed there was a strike, and on the 26th, respectively, they were supposed to have informed the union to say, we are on strike as things stand. The players are threatening to go on strike, and therefore, what needs to happen? Then we need to put them into terms, into those terms to say, what now you need to go back to work and this and that. And we can confirm that on the 12th, 13th, and 14th, players at work, it is not true that they do. But part 6 of that schedule.
So there was never a strike. The players never boycotted training. They never said we're not playing.
No, they never said that. Ambile, you would know better, and I think a lot of your listeners who follow football, they know that there is no player that would just elect or select himself to go play a particular game. When you go for camp, let's say those who go to camp, they'll have about 20 players going to camp. You need to issue their names. The club cannot even tell you who refused what. They actually just concocted those things. And I can tell you why they did that. Let me ask you this then,
and I want you to tell me why they did that, but I want to ask you something. You can tell us now, I'm sure as it is, there was a payment dispute between the players and Swallows. Am I correct?
No, absolutely. And not only this time. The players have been playing the games without being paid.
For how long?
It's been going on for quite a long time, Andy.
What's a long time?
Possibly. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, Andy. Remember, the club is supposed to be playing the players at the last day of the month. And that has not been happening for some months now. They'll only get paid on the 15th or the 17th.
President, I'm going to push you for this one. When you say for some months now, how long has this payment?
There are players. It varies. There are players who have not been paid for 7 months. There are players who have not been paid for 8. There are those who have not for 3 and 4, and there are other outstanding fees and so forth. Okay? And what would have happened is that on the 12th of December, The players met with Datem Khasho, the chairman, and they agreed that they will be paid their money. So when they were paid on the 15th of December, the club was not paying for the December salary. The players had said, because you had not paid us at least for a longer period, just give us the money for November, and you can pay us for December. So they pay them on the 15th of December for the November salary. I'm not taking outstandings. And he promised the 22nd would also pay you for your salaries for December and so forth. And those things, do they take place?
Che, I don't know what's happened there. I think you've moved around a little bit. I'm getting you differently.
Okay, can you hear me?
Much better, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know where you lost me.
No. I think you can go on, President. I got you a little bit of you.
Yeah, but on the 22nd, then the club doesn't even honor the agreement, just like they've not honored any other agreement before. They did not pay the players as it were. So it would not be true to say the reason the players, which has been put out there, decided or not to honor the game, which we also reject, that it is not true that the players did not refuse to honor the game. The fact of the matter is that the players were in a meeting, as we were discussing, the chairman of the league then withdrew or cancelled the game. Into that.
7 months, 6 months. I mean, a month without getting your salary is madness, but 6 months in what you're talking about is very mad. But can you hear me? Okay, Tshilakanya, let me take a quick break so we can fix your line and then get back to it. Absolutely absurd, but there's a reason and there's a place I'm going with this. We're going to be speaking to the lawyer representing Moroka Swallows Football Club as well after this, but I want to just finish off conversation with Tshilakanya. Let me quickly take a break.
Check out my school drip bag and I zone because of Albany. Feel like I sold, scuffed and filled with freshness, so tasty. These kids wanna be me because it's filled with Albany. When they check me, they say, yo, his school life is
You could be a 10,000 Rand daily winner guaranteed with Albany. Live the Tough school life with Mzansi's #1 bread. See Albany promo packs for details. T's and C's apply. Albany, feel the freshness.
Listen closely, lovies. Let me put you onto something called Take a Lot and unlock a world of options to shop anything beauty and skincare, appliances, big or small. If you can think it, they've probably got it. Even beats for your ears or speakers for your picnic. They'll bring it straight to you wherever you are, or you can collect nationwide. Take a Lot, Mzansi, and find everything you need online.
Get double the voucher and double the joy. With W Rewards, you just can't get enough. Win your share of 25,000 Rands in Woolies gift vouchers. Just call in on 086 000 2160 and tell us what can't you get enough of at Woolies for a chance to win 2,500 Rands. If you're a W Rewards member, we'll double your gift voucher. We want you to win the most, so you have 10 minutes to sign up for W Rewards. Head to our website right now on metrofm.co.za. Signing up takes less than 2 minutes, so you have time to think about what you'll do with the 5,000 Rands gift voucher. Don't miss double the winnings. Sign up now. Remember, the sign up link is on metrofm.co.za. Woolworths, the difference. T's and C's do apply.
Sports Night Amplified with Ndile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
President of the South African Football Players Union, Tshilakanya, joins us now on the line, and I'm hoping that the line's going to be a little bit better now. President, can we try this?
Yeah.
Oh, much better. There we go. I do know I have to let you go, but that line there disturbing us a little bit. I was asking you what I was asking you in terms of, why players would be disgruntled. Because if you haven't been played for 7 months, 6 months, 3 months, or even a month, you do get disgruntled. And the way I'm going with this is that, are you saying to me that after all the struggles they've had with not receiving their money, with the conditions on which they've been handled, really, are you saying that players never had recourse? They didn't, form some sort of alliance with each other, senior players talking to management to say, this is what we've chosen to do because of the issues that we're having? There was never anything of such. Players went on about their regular business, never threatened the team in any way.
None of the players did, of course, said to the players, to the club, we need to be paid. Our salaries, if you don't pay, this is it. This is part and parcel of the negotiations and it. You move from one right to the other is on the left. And you sit and you discuss. And precisely why we convened on the 27th of December, so that we could resolve this particular matter. But I can tell you that the club negotiated in that stage.
So the players then, what was their stance? What was their threat to say, if you don't pay us, therefore, what will happen? What I'm trying to get at is you saying they never ever said they're not going to show up. They never said, what did they say when they went to the club? And there was some sort of ransom possibly from the players, surely. There was some sort of bargaining chip.
Before the game, the players would not have been paid on the game before the game of SuperSport. And they said to the club, if you don't pay us, we're not going to go and play. However, the players were told to come to training. They went on the 26th and the 27th. The players were commanded to go to camp and pre-match meal and all that. The players went into camp and they brought their soccer boots. And they said, we are ready to do that. But however, we want a commitment from the club. That commitment could come in a form of saying, in a written form, this is what we are going to do. We will pay you so on such and such a day, and we will take it from there. And that never happened, and that is precisely why. So the club just want to change and shift the blame in terms of taking responsibility on this match.
So, once again, the devil's advocate here, the players did have some sort of threat to the club to say, we're not going to play this game if these terms are not met. I think that's important that we clear that.
No, it is important, Andy, because at any given point, those things are done. It was the responsibility of the club to come with a counter offer in terms of what needs to happen. So it was not a unilateral decision. The club did not come with a counter offer, and that's how it all ended. Instead of coming with a counter offer, they just canceled the game.
One wonders then, your wish is to say, hey guys, make a decision here. What do you want with the players? So if Solos come back and say the 22 players that you're representing, plus the other ones that are all individually represented by their own lawyers, they're no longer wanted here. They can go, your 22 players, thank you very much. Then what?
I didn't get that.
I'm just asking the President, you're saying all you want from Solos is a commitment either way to say, what decision are you making? Make a decision on these players. Once that decision is made and they say, we're releasing the 22 players, then what? What is the recourse of the players? What is the action then taken by SAPU?
The recourse is going to the dispute resolution chamber because we think these concocted charges are all that, and the players were never given a fair deal. However, we will take it to the dispute resolution chamber for unfair dismissal. That's where we are headed.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Luruma Tobejane representing Swallow is going to be up next. But, President, we appreciate you always for coming on and talking to us about it. I don't think we even need to take a break. We've got Luruma on the line. Let's go straight into it. You've heard from the one side representing the players, that is the president of SAPU, Motulukhanyo Khawashibelu, who came on. Luruma Tobejane now joins us, of course, representing Moroka Swallows Football Club. Luruma, thank you so much. A busy year already for you.
Yeah. Andy, good evening to the listeners as well.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure how much you caught of what the president is saying, but let's perhaps begin by painting the story from a Moroka Swallows Football Club point of view. The SAFPU says you had the DC, the chair sat, and the decision was made, but has not been implemented. Perhaps you can paint a picture from the Swallows boardroom point of view. Where do you stand on the 22 players, plus all the players at the club? What has happened, and where are you as a club on this matter?
Andile, like we said before, there are three groups of players. The first group is represented by SAPU, and the two other groups are represented by private legal practitioners. And we were awaiting the outcome of those cases as well. We have since received the sanctions for all players today. Then the club will tomorrow announce the way forward in as far as the implementation of this DC ruling. So it is not incumbent on SAPU to force the club to implement the decision. We have to wait for the outcome of the entire process. So I don't understand why we should get an ultimatum from SAPU to say implement the decision when we're still waiting for the other matters to be finalized.
But maybe what if they're sitting there and saying, players are in limbo. If they are to be dismissed, they need to look for other clubs. They need to move on and try and get signings elsewhere. And this needs to be done maybe for others, before Friday, because that's when the deadline closes. Although they'll be unattached and can still join any club, but most clubs would be looking in the next couple of days. Is it fair to say that's what they're trying to get to? They're trying to get a resolution before such times?
No, but Andile, the ruling came on Friday evening, and today we're on I think it's Tuesday. So, like we indicated before, there's three batches of players represented by different legal representatives, and the whole process has been finalized today. This afternoon, we received the last sanctions in respect of the other two groups. Then the club will then implement the decision henceforth.
So as we stand now, Swallows Football Club still has all its players. They have not fired anybody. They have not let go of anyone. As we stand now, the entire crop, the 22 plus the private ones, are all still Swallows players, correct?
Yes, you are right to say they're all still registered with Swallows. That's true.
Have they been paid up to date? Have they been paid up until the end of December?
That's a very big question, Andile. Remember, I listened to SAPU president now. In December, what happened is the following, Andile. The players embarked on what we call an illegal strike, are refusing to play because they wanted to be paid on the 22nd of December, because in their own views, they needed to have the money before Christmas. Their contracts provide that you shall be paid as players on the last business day of the month. So, according to the players, they allege that there was some arrangement with some officials of the club to be paid on the 22nd of December. And in as far as I'm concerned, Swallows was contractually bound to pay the players on the last business day.
But we're not talking, I don't think the president was speaking about monthly wages. I mean, he goes on to mention that it's been 7 months of non-payment of wages, non-payment on time of wages. So they were speaking not only of that month, but they were speaking holistically of wages and Swallows when the players said, we want to be paid for November as well, which they hadn't been paid up until the date.
No, Andile. The players were paid on the 14th of December for November. He knows that. And he knows that the players demanded payment on the 22nd of December for December month. And Andile, to say that the players were owed for some months, I mean, he should know the remedy for that. There are procedures that he could have followed to make sure that Swallows' grant is attached to pay those salaries. Nothing has happened. We are talking about the salary for December.
So where you stand, Luruma, and just to clarify, sorry to get in there, you're saying there's never such a thing as players owed salaries for months?
No, there's no such a thing. Because if such a thing existed, you have the rules. The NSL handbook provides that under Article 50, that if there are overdue payables by the club, the players must approach the NSL DRC for an order to be granted so that the league can deduct from the grant. That never happened. You give us 10 days. No notice was served on Swallows to pay overdue payables.
I mean, that for me then says, it shifts the course. I don't understand, Luruma, because if that's the case, if they've been paid every single month, there's never been issues. Even November was paid, yes, late, 14 days late, which is still a huge measure, but still paid. Then you're saying to me that the players are embarking on a strike based purely on the fact that they wanted their December salary before Christmas. That's where that's the cornerstone of the entire thing.
Yes, that's the cornerstone of the entire thing. Because Andy, it's not me saying. No, Andy, it's not me saying this. If you read in newspaper articles on social media, that was what SAPU said. And even at the hearing, that was what was stated. We're supposed to get our salary on the 22nd of December because some Swallows officials promised us that will be paid on the 22nd of December. And we're saying, what does the contract provide? The contract provides that you will be paid on the last business day of the month.
So every other month, Swallows has paid their players?
You say every other month?
Yeah, so January they got not this January, last January all the way up until September, October, November, they were getting their salaries. Because I know for sure, Luruma, from having spoken to a player or two, that there's been, times when Swallows have not been able to pay salaries.
Andy, I can tell you right now that if the club fails to pay a player's salary for a month, the player has recourse in terms of the NSL handbook. None of those players that we're talking about has exercised that recourse. You cannot come and tell me that the reason, you heard what the chairman or the president of SAPU said. He said in a meeting on the 27th of December, the players stated that they are not going to play until such time that Solos commits to some form of an arrangement. Solos had no arrangement to commit to other than to stick to what the contract provides for. So if the players wanted Solos to commit outside the contract, Solos could not do that. And if they had a case, they should have approached the NSL DRC. You don't sit down and say, I'm not going to play a match until you come with alternative arrangements. There's no alternative arrangement when you have a contract. The players have a right to enforce the contract. Why didn't they enforce it?
The president also says that the players, when they were told to go to camp, were at camp, they brought their boots, they were ready to play. And, you know, they never said they're not going to play. Yes, they did use it as a threat to say, guys, we want our money, but they were ready to play. They don't pick themselves, and they were ready to play. They would have gone on to play the match.
They would have gone on to play the match if they were given the money for December on the 22nd or on the 27th, which was not the last business day. So if you hold me at ransom and say, despite the fact that my contract provides that I must be paid on the last business day of the month, I want you to pay me today, the 22nd or the 27th, otherwise I'm not going to play a match. What do you expect from me? To give in to that demand, which is unreasonable.
It is not unreasonable when you've been paying me late. I mean, you paid me November's salary on the 14th of December. So to say I want my money early so that I don't have to wait till late, it's not necessarily unreasonable, Naluruma, is it?
It's unreasonable because you're trying to change the terms and conditions of your employment contract.
The employment contract says what? Says end of the year, end of every month, right? Last business day, right?
Yes.
And then, so when did they pay November salary?
On the 14th of December.
That's not the last business day. So Swallows there, they broke the contract too.
But Andile, I think you missed the point. The point is that if Swallows breaks the contract, you have a remedy. Approach the NSL DRC. Don't sit down and say, I'll revenge.
I hear you, Luruma. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. The only thing is, we're not arguing whether Swallows paid or pays late or doesn't pay. I think the whole thing is players did not use the right channels to show their disgruntledness, to go and take out, you know, all these issues. They sat back and did nothing but trusted the club that has hired them to do the right thing.
No, but if you're not going to honor a match merely because now you demand that because the previous month I was paid late, this month I want to be paid early, is that the right thing to do?
I mean, it's not just the previous month. It's several months where I've been paid late, and I've said nothing about it because I'm trusting the club. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do, but I also wonder, is it the right thing to do to, you know, do what they're about to do? Because I'm hearing it on good authority, Luruma, that you're going to be releasing all the players at Swallows.
No, let's forget about releasing. Let's stick to the point at issue. Here, the issue is the following. Do you sit down when you are wronged and you don't follow procedure and you say, no, I'll take revenge? It's like two wrongs will make a right. So the players had all the remedies available in terms of the NSL handbook when they were wronged by Moroka Swallows. But you cannot wait and say, no, I'm going to not honor this match against Mamelodi Sundowns because I need to be paid on the 22nd when your contract says last business day. You're not going to do that.
We can agree on one thing, Luruma. We can agree that the players should have taken due course months before all of this if it had been happening for that long. The fact that they sat back and did not is a big issue now. But then let's pack that one a little bit on the side. Talk to me about the possibilities, and like I said, I'm hearing it on good authority that Moroka Swallows Football Club will be releasing all the players on their books.
The recommendations are that all players must be dismissed with immediate effect.
So not just the 22, but all the players.
Yeah, that were found guilty, yes, must be dismissed with immediate effect. And that is now in the hands of the management of Swallows, not in my hands anymore.
So when is this decision then going to be implemented?
Like I said, from now on, we should have implementation of that decision because all these cases have been finalized.
So have the players been told? When are they getting told?
Anytime after today, or maybe this evening or tomorrow morning. But I can tell you anytime now.
And then does the club leave a door open to go back to the same players to renegotiate having some of them back?
Well, it's entirely up to the players to go back and beg for their jobs back, and it's entirely up to the club to recruit from the same players. I cannot. You're asking me.
I hear you, but I hear you. I'm just, for me, can I tell you what it sounds like, Liruma? For me,
yes.
and I mean, you're a legal man with legal opinions and factual opinions, so perhaps you can just listen to this and nod and smile. But it sounds to me like a heavy players' pay bill at the end of every month is a big headache for Swallows. So what Swallows is going to do is relieve all their players, contractually get out of these contracts so they can beg for their jobs back, and Swallows can renegotiate those salaries way less than what they had in the first place. That's what it sounds like.
No, Andile, I think you're wrong there. I think I don't want to tell you. I think you are wrong there.
Correct me, because I don't want to think like that. It would be sad to think like that.
Now, I think what you're saying is the following: Swallows will want to take all the players back at a reduced salary.
Not all of them, but whoever it is that they decide that they want to keep.
No. That's not. I can tell you now, that's not Swallows' intention.
What is Swallows' intention?
Swallows' intention is to implement the ruling of the DC. And if they have to go out and recruit new players, they'll recruit new players.
I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot of the current players that have been released coming back as well. I just wonder what their contracts are going to look like. Liruma, if you can, please spare us some time tomorrow so we can speak about the other matter. You've been a busy man. You've been a very busy man. Royal AM is another matter that we need to speak to you about. If you could please allow us to do that tomorrow.
No problem. Thanks very much, Andy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Listen, I don't know what you make. That is my thoughts. I could be wrong, but that's my thought. It's exactly 1841. We're not going to take a break. We're going to go straight into a man whom I have so much respect for. Absolutely love him as a journalist. One of the best on the continent and beyond, if you ask me. If somebody was to say one of the best journalists in the world, I would believe them. Journalist, African sport writer there, Gary L. Smith now joins us. Gary, with over 350,000 followers on Twitter, because people hang on Gary's word, as I do. Gary.
Hello, Andile.
Hey, man. I know I sound very upbeat when I'm greeting you. I can imagine you're still in a period of mourning.
Aha. What's there to mourn about? We've been mourning for a while, my brother.
Gary L. Smith, of course, being a Ghanaian man himself, had the pleasure of watching the games yesterday. Gary, what's going on in Ghana?
Well, yeah. We are back to square one. We've been here for the last couple of Africa Cups of Nations, I should say. So it's not new territory. What's happening is that after the final group game, there's a lot of, finger pointing, blame games, and generally the team is going nowhere very, very fast. After two consecutive draws where the team was leading and allowed the opposition to come back from 2 goals down, you can't expect that people are quite upset at the general state of things. So that's what's going on. A lot of questions, a lot of what happened, why are we here, why can't we seem to get things right since 2017?
But
when
Gary,
Ghana made the semi-final.
When you saw the players recruited for AFCON, when you saw the squad that was announced, did you have big faith in this team?
Well, what I said everywhere, so that I'll be consistent, was that I think since 2017, so from 2019, 2021 until now, we had probably, of the 3 competitions or the 3 tournaments, this squad was the most balanced. Much like the Bafana squad is in Cote d'Ivoire right now. It's probably the most balanced you've had in a while, if you are going to admit that. So based on that, What was left, Andile, in our case, was the coach. Because we know we have a balanced squad, right? In every position, if we have the correct starting 11 that is picked, we knew, and as you have seen in the 3 group games, they have the ability to score. There are players in there with an individual touch of brilliance. The only thing you have not seen is proper game management and proper coaching. That's the most difficult problem we have right now. Simple as that.
So you're putting it at the coach's door?
Well, I don't want to say anything or put words into your mouth. You watch the games. Anybody who watches the games knows it. So it's not me saying. So regardless of the starting 11 Ghana had, right, there were clear areas that were leaking. All 3 opponents, Cabo Verde, Egypt, and Mozambique yesterday, all hit the same areas that were the weaknesses of the Ghana team, right? There's no problem if a team has a weakness, okay? I mean, the best teams in the world have weaknesses, but what do? They mitigate it with good coaching. So that's what it is. But if you keep doing the same thing and you expect different results, then you know what they say. That's madness. And we have been very, very, very close to mad in our 3 games.
There's also a big talking point as far as the IU brothers are concerned. I mean, Jordan, we saw starting a couple of games there, one coming off the bench, not adding much. Is it time for Ghana to let go of that IU project? You know, it had so much promise, and everybody thought, you know, because of who their father is, it would be lovely to see them bring glory. Do you think the IU brothers should still at this stage be a part of that team?
Well, it's at the moment it would be unfair to lump them up together, the 2 brothers, when analyzing them, because they are at 2 different stages of their careers. Okay, so let's take Jordan and Billy. It is not possible that Jordan Ayew plays in what may be the most popular and the toughest league in the world, right? The Premier League. And for the last 5 years, Andile, every single coach that has come to Crystal Palace has used Jordan Ayew has consistently, yes, that's the word I'm looking for, used Jordan Ayew. That's point 1. I want us to put that point aside. That suggests that in there is a player that is good and that will produce results with good coaching. Are we agreed? The Premier League is one of the most superior leagues in the world. Okay? Are we agreed?
Okay. I'm with you.
Had about 6, Crystal Palace have had about 6 different coaches in the last 5 years, or 7 different coaches. From Patrick Vieira to Roy Hodgson to anybody, every single one of them that comes in uses Jordan Ayew, and he has delivered for them. He delivers in the statistics every season. Even if he doesn't score a handful of goals, his contribution to the team is up there. It is not me saying it, that is the fact. Which should tell us that there is something wrong if the Ghana team cannot get coaching that can get the same output out of him.
Chris, you
get my point?
Yeah.
Again, because I watch a bit of South African football, I would say an example is Themba Zwane. Okay? Hugo Bruce, we know when he came in, he did not want to use Themba Zwane, and we know the reasons he gave. The facts of the matter are that at a point, he had to apologize to the people of South Africa that, hey, hands up, I got it wrong because this guy can be useful to the team and I should have seen it earlier. It's the same thing. So coach upon coach comes, and so what we see at the AFCON is a rubbish version of Jordan Ayew. But we will put it down to the coaching because at his club, you get my point. What's his name? The coach of Sundowns, Rulani. Right? He always says that he does not play formations, he plays systems. That's what he says.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a coach who can play a system that can bring the best out of Jordan Ayew, you are going to have what you have in the Ghana shirt, which is what? He gets the ball and he touches the ball up to 5-6 times at a time. You can Google any video of Crystal Palace. Jordan never touches the ball more than 3 times for Crystal Palace. Never. Never, ever. That's because, you know what I'm saying?
What about Andre Ayew then? I mean, plays in League
Good.
A.
Andre is a different matter. Andre is a different matter. Andre, it's time, that we understood. I have been consistent since, is it 2001? Yes. 2001, September, was the first time that it dawned on me that, guys, look, this man has served us incredibly well, okay? He's given his heart and soul, and literally, he has bled for the team because it's not once, not twice. He has literally gushed blood on the pitch for the team. However, his legs are gone. Okay, and this is 3 years ago. His legs are gone. Look, there is nothing wrong with admitting that one of the best players of our generation in the national team is not who he used to be. And so let's cut down on the number of minutes he played. But we hung on for too long, and he cost us. And I would say that after the last tournament, after the last World Cup, I would say that Andre should have seen the signs and hung up his boots. That is what I would say, And because right now, Andre, it's so sad. It's not like you have a gladiator, yes? You have a warrior who was so good in his prime, and yet in his final years, he does not know when to say goodbye, and so he lets all these young cats beat him in the ring. That is where Andre is. You saw what happened yesterday. He was brought on at halftime, and almost everything he did for 45 minutes, Andre, was a blight on his good name.
It's been a sad tournament for him.
Yesterday was the day we should have been celebrating a huge milestone, not for Andre Ayew, but for Ghana. You know the stat, right? Yesterday, Andre became, in the history of the AFCON, you know how insane that is? In the history of the AFCON, no player in the history of the AFCON has played more games than Andre Ayew had yesterday.
Yeah,
but nobody remembers that.
Yeah.
What we remember is that he came on and within 5 minutes, he had a very silly yellow card. What we remember is that by the time it was 2-0, Andre considered a handball. We can debate the merit of whether the handball was a handball or not. The fact of the matter is that it was he who caused the handball and began the comeback for Mozambique. What I'll say just to sum up is, Andre, and I have told people close to him, I had the opportunity of interviewing him. He was very kind to me. He gave me an exclusive interview in Qatar in 2022. And when we had the chat, I said, Andre, I think you should consider, saying that back. And he said, and later he actually said it, so this is not me saying, he said it in the media, that he wants to win the AFCON for Ghana. And I said, bro, it's not that easy, and this will be the time to let us celebrate you, bid you a proper goodbye, and let's, you see the way Asamoah Gyan is enjoying post-retirement. You see? Yeah. He's being called to matches, FIFA, CAF, ambassador this, ambassador that. If Andre Ayew retires today, he's going to be a huge figure, and it's time. It's time Andre just allowed his body to say that, look, thank you, Ghana, but it's time to say goodbye.
Before I let you go, I'm running out of time, Gary, and you're not on this show enough because every time we do speak to you, there's just a magic about the way you put words together. Do follow him on Twitter. It's Gary L. Smith. Gary, you've got qualifiers for the World Cup. I think you've got Mali, Madagascar, if I'm not mistaken. I think Central African Republic as well. Do Ghana go in there with Mr. Houghton as coach?
I would say no for a couple of reasons. Yesterday, you see, in literature, for anybody who studied literature, they say when in an exam, what do you guys call your exam? Matric, right?
Yes.
Is that what you call your exam?
Yeah, matric. Yes. That's grade 12. Yes.
If you are writing matric literature and you are told to analyze a character in a novel, there are three things you do. You take what the character says about himself, right? You take what the other characters say about this character, and then you say what the author or the narrator says about the character. So that's how I'm going to judge Chris Houghton. Yesterday, he himself admitted that he has not handled the Black Stars well in terms of results. So that is what he said. I'm not saying it. Okay? Okay.
Wow.
Secondly, what are the players saying about him? if you listen critically to the game, the first group game against Cape Verde, all the players who spoke, they did not mention him by name, but they addressed the coach in the interviews because they were all asking for aggression. They were asking for the team to be more positive. Who takes those decisions? It's the coach. You know what I'm saying? The players are aware that among the 27 players in Côte d'Ivoire, we have one of the most attacking teams at this AFCON. If the shackles will be removed. Unfortunately, Chris Hughton is a coach that most of your listeners will know about because, he coached in the biggest league in the world, Brighton and all that. He's a very defensive coach. That is him by nature. We thought that having come to Ghana and played for the national team and not having to play week in, week out, where you have to get the results and all that, he would play attacking football. Unfortunately, it does not look like the Leopard will change its spots. And so that's why I would say Chris Hughton may be more harm than good for us. And so it is probably time to change again. As much as I would have wanted continuity, because Anthony, I have to admit, one of the biggest problems of the Ghana team is that we have been chopping and changing coaches too many. We've done 4 coaches in the last 3 years or the last 4 years. That's too many. Or 5 coaches in the last 4 years. That's too many. And as much as I would love him to continue, I think this man is simply unwilling to change from his defensive ways. And so my simple answer, because of these reasons, is no.
Gary L. Smith, appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much for talking to us. I was a fan in those couple of minutes listening to that. We get you the very best when it comes to contributors here on this show. Nadeem just sending me a text now saying, Andre Onana, not part of the starting 11, dropped for Cameroon. What do we do, Timmy, with the time remaining? Do we take calls or do we quickly take the voice notes? While Timmy thinks about that. Remember, we've had some really, really exciting football. Let me tell you about it.
Visit betway.co.za and never miss out on the non-stop action. Get way more with Betway.
We've had some exciting football this past weekend. There's still some scintillating Carabao semi-final ties to set up an incredible weekend of sport. Don't forget to visit betway.co.za where you could win your share of 2 million rand when you bet on any Betway SA20 game. The action never stops with Betway.
Visit betway.co.za to bet on every unforgettable sporting moment. Get way more with Betway.
Sports Night Amplified.
My name is Brian Wolfake, standing in for Andy Ngube. These are the voices that bring you all the action every time. Those are the golden voices of SABC. As somebody speaking in tongue.
Six to 7 p.m. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303.
Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Hello, Andile, and good evening to the listeners. You see, I believe with this issue, I just wanted to say, they thought when they got rid of Robert Marawa, then difficult questions were not going to be asked. Baba Maroshaya Kon. Your questions, you are getting to the bottom. They must answer. Someone somewhere, Morocco Silos, or Mr. Muhashwa, or the lawyers, or the players, someone must answer. Something is not right somewhere. Great show as always, Doctor from Orchards.
Good evening, Ma. Hey, my brother, I'm worried. I am really worried with our leadership. Hearing this guy, Leromo, how he speaks, but he's a representative. You only understand the breach of contract when someone breaches the contract, but when it's him breaching the contract, he doesn't understand the rules and the terms. Our football is just in trouble. But let me just enjoy AFCON so long, because it's just amazing. Thanks, Kai from Quebec.
It really is. It's the best AFCON we've ever had, hands down. Congratulations to Dr. Patrice Motsepe and the entire CAF board because they've done well. Let's go to Ferdinand. He's out in Witbank. In the meantime, I'll let the faith here. Ferdinand.
Hey, Andy, love it.
Hey, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. Man.
Talk to me.
Yeah, I just want to say that Swallows FC are not being reasonable because of the financial constraints they put on the players as they have financial obligations on a monthly basis. And if the debit order the bouncer, there's no time to think straight and go through proper channels to deal with the matter.
I think the guy before on the voice note was spot on, Ferdinand. You can't see the breach of contract when I breach it, but you don't see it when you breach it. Umpatetse got 14th December for November. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, Ferdinand. 7 o'clock, top of the hour. Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, in here.
Can I call you Chong Li?
Chong Li? Is it because of the way I'm dressed?
Yes. I love it.
You love it? Thank you. My
stomach out even.
Well, if you've got a flat tummy, you got to show it, right? While I still can, I've got a flat tummy. And, I love my body. I'm always, you know this. I've always said this.
I love your body. I love you for loving your body.
I've always loved my body.
It's an amazing temple, worthy of being worshipped.
Ooh, hello.
And that's what we do at a temple,
I missed you yesterday. You do worship at the temple.
And, I mean, this is a temple.
And if you're really good, blessings will come through.
I fully believe that.
I know. As a result of this temple. Where were you yesterday? You were doing TV.
I was on television. But now I wish I wasn't. Because as visual as TV is and radio isn't, I wish I could swap the two and show everybody what you look like.
Oh, really? And how do I look like if you had to describe it in English?
Oh, man. If the most coveted thing in December in the townships where we come from is ultramal, is custard, then you are the cherry that we put on top of it when we eat it. We look at it and admire it first, and then just indulge.
So you want to eat me?
No, I want to look at you and indulge. What do you have going on in your show?
I don't even know what to say to that. Woo, okay.
Are you okay?
Let me catch my breath for a second. You see, even the camera guys don't even know what to say to that statement. Nobody knows what to say at this point. Look, over 1,300 businesses in South Africa have shut down their doors in 2023. It is according to Statistics South Africa, and I think that even more are facing that voluntary and involuntary closing down. We're in conversation with SAFTU General Secretary Zwelin Zimavavi regarding these businesses. I mean, 1,300 businesses closing.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of businesses because you have to also look at the fact that about 60 to 80% of employment come from small and medium enterprises in this country. Then we're also going to be talking about Anti-Money Laundering Week, which begins this week. We're also going to be looking at where South Africa and how South Africa is faring when it comes to money laundering, especially at a national level. Something that has been a big concern is there's been a man who posed, get this, a man who posed as a teenager to lure underage girls to a chat group where child pornography was then distributed among 3 online child sexual predators, was arrested this past week. It really is something big when it comes to this particular syndicate and the growing industry of child pornography. We're going to be interrogating that with the South African Police Service regarding that. And then after 8 is going to be a political one. I'm sure many of you have been wondering about it. And I often target my after 8, especially when I talk to politicians, to my first-time voters or those young people who feel a little bit despondent because they do not know who to vote for. And we bring in different politicians so that they can state their case. Well, this evening we're bringing in Musiwa Lukota, the president of COPE, to state his case. You know, there's been much controversy around whether he's a legitimate president or illegitimate president. There have been many people that have been suspended within the political party.
I don't know.
They have about 2 seats in the National Assembly, but are they excluded from the national debate and the conversations that are happening? Where do they stand on certain policies, right? Like economic development, like land, like education, like health matters. We're going to find out all about COPE this evening with Musiwa Lukota in the studio with us, the president of COPE.
Well, we're going to get out of here. It's 3 after the hour 7. The conversations we're having are not complete yet. We're going to complete them tomorrow. So we'll have, obviously, things to talk about too, but we need to complete. Loruma Tabajana needs to come back, and then we need to go back to Côte d'Ivoire as well. So those 2 conversations will continue, and then there'll be a little bit of something else as well. Hey, Biso Snaps, he's a member of our team here. He does amazing work. An absolute genius is what I call him. Celebrating his birthday today. So, Gerald, happy birthday, Donayam. From all of us here on Sports That Amplified, especially the guys that give you the visuals, the cameras. We appreciate you. Pella. That's all me.
Welcome to the Urban Rhythm Revolution. Listen. Metro FM